So what is NLP evolution? So natural language processing. Here are the capabilities that we can have in AI technology. So since most of you must be familiar with ChatGPT, we'll see certain functions that we can do using generative AI languages. So you can do classification. So suppose you give them a sentence or a concept and you ask them to give you what the sentiment is. So like if it's a positive sentiment or if it's a negative sentiment, like checking if a certain sentence will come under positive or negative. So, those things are called classification. Then we have extraction. So we are asking it to do a function based on the information we give it. So like suppose we give the AI a sentence, they will tell and suppose we give it a function like extract the noun from the sentence or extract the adverb from the sentence. So that is extraction. Other functions that we can use are matching, transformation and generation. So matching is like trying to see which two things are similar. It's again like classification, except over here we'll be matching two concepts together instead of classifying it. Transformation, a very common example is translate. We all use Google Translate, so that comes under transformation. So like convert a sentence into Kannada or Hindi or whatever, that comes under transformation. And now generation. Now generation is the newest and the most advanced level of this. We've seen it. So suppose like you have a homework assignment and write an essay on say politics or something. So instead of typing give me points in politics in Google, if you just feed this prompt to the Gen AI, it will formulate its essay for you. Instead of you researching individually, it will do the research for you, it will compile it and it will give you a ready-made product. So this is generation, and this is what we're going to mainly talk about today. So this is Google's role in Gen AI. As we know, Google has been at the forefront of the AI revolution, and so it started from 2017 with Transformers, and we've come to 2023 with BARD. I don't think you can see it very clearly, but we're using BARD technology in 2023. This is the newest technology which Google is using. So what is large language model? So in traditional programming, I'm sure a few of you must be familiar with programming, whether it be Python or Java or something. So you have to use a particular syntax. You have to learn the language, the programming language, to get an output. But the advantage of LLM is that it uses natural languages, like English. So you need not learn the syntax of a programming language. You can just write in common English. This means that you don't have to learn so much of syntax. You don't have to be very particular. You can just get this information using normal language. So this is an example. So before, suppose you wanted to give information about a cat. So you had to code it manually using particular syntax. You had to use colon you had to use a colon, you had to use indentation, all of these components of syntax in traditional programming just to get information about a cat. So some of you might be familiar with Python programming. So over there, you'll have characteristics of a cat. Yeah, you'll have characteristics of a cat. Can you guys hear me? Anybody is having an issue? Can you guys hear me? Okay. So suppose in Python dictionary, you're saving the characteristics of a cat. So fur is grey color, then what are its likes, etc. But using Gen AI, you need not save it in the traditional programming sense. You can just ask, is this a cat? And Gen AI will comb the data sets that it has access to, and it will provide the information in natural language models. So this is the major advantage of LLM. So here are some terms which are related to Gen AI and LLM. So what is a generative model? A machine language model that produces content, including language, code, imagery, music, video, etc. So Gen AI, it basically it combs data sets and it gives you an output which can be any of these contents. So this includes like stories or poems, anything, and it can comb large data sets. It can be like, suppose, for example, again, ChatGPT will take. Recently, ChatGPT has got full access to the internet till now. I think it had access in September 2021 till quite recently, but now it has access to like present day internet. So like, it depends on the model. So ChatGPT has access to the entire internet. Some models might have access to slightly smaller data sets. So that's the basic concept of generative model. It combs data sets and will produce an output according to your prompt. Now, what are large language models? And large refers to both the size and the complexity of the neural network, as well as the size of the data set it was trained on. And it can also be used for non-generative language tasks. As mentioned, classification. So like you're giving it a sentence and it's just, it's doing a function on the information that you're giving. It's not generating anything. So you can use LLM for that as well. And what is transformer? It's a neural network architecture which underlies most of today's generative models. It is published by Google in 2017. So let's learn about LLM using this example. So for example, we're giving it a prompt. Honesty is the best. And we're asking the generative AI to give us the next sentence. We're prompting it to give the next sentence. So what it will do is, it will look at all the instances of this phrase, honesty is the best, in the data set that it has. And it will try to see which is the most likely using probability or, using probability concepts like such as top K and top P. We'll come to that later. But it will use basically probability functions. So how many times has policy been used as the last word in the sentence? So it will have like, many books, many grammar worksheets. It will know that the most probable answer for this phrase is policy. And then after policy, like suppose policy is like 80%, way might be 10%, approach might be 5%, and so on. So depending on what are the needs of what are the settings of the Gen AI, it will take either like the topmost probability, or it will take like a certain combination of the probabilities, and it will give an answer for our prompt. See, for example, to be or not to be, it's a very famous quote by Shakespeare, and it has been repeated many times. The Gen AI will have access to. So if we prompt to be or not to, most of the times the Gen AI sees that be is the next word, so it will prompt that word. Same way, like Mumbai is to India what London is to. Again, London is to England is something which is stored in the data sets. Probability of England being the answer is very high, so it will give you that as the output. And one more example, masala dosa is the most popular South Indian dish. So this is basically LLM. Now what is a prompt? Prompt is nothing but the text you feed to your model. This is the natural language prompt that you are feeding to get an output. And now prompt design has become an emerging technology. You see prompt engineers, it's a growing field. So what is prompt design? It's the art and science of figuring out what text to feed your language model to get it to take on the behavior you want. So very simply, we'll just explain with the use of an example. Suppose you feed a prompt, write a poem about cricket. So what it does is that since you've given a very simple prompt, write a poem about cricket, it will see what it knows about poems. So it knows that it has to have a rhyme scheme, it knows that it has to have stanzas, all of that, and it will know like a few facts about cricket, like it's played by bat and ball, maybe a few famous cricketers, and it will combine that and it will generate a poem. It's different from just Googling and search engines, because like if we had to write a poem about cricket for just an assignment or something, we have to do the research and then combine it ourselves. But Gen AI, it will do the work for us. It will combine all of these different concepts and it will give us a ready-made product. Now this is a very simple prompt. It's like just one sentence. But we can, to get more accurate answers, we can use examples. Since this is an iterative process, like the more examples you give, the more information it has. It knows what exactly you want, and it will give us like a better answer. Now, for example, let's take this. So it's asking us to convert English to French, and it's giving us some, and we are giving it some examples. So like we're saying peppermint is this in French, cactus is this, and potato is this. And we're prompting it, can you give us a translation for onion in French using, using the same format. So Gen AI will see this and will give a similar answer using all the examples that we have already fed it. Another example is changing Python to JavaScript. So suppose we are giving Python a command, like in Python we'll give a command print hello world. But in JavaScript, this is the command, console.log. And we are prompting to give the JavaScript answer for Python. So we'll give it a command and we'll tell it, using the same syntax that you're using in JavaScript for the first example, give us a, convert the second Python code into JavaScript. And this is the answer that we'll get after prompting. So those were zero shot and few shot. So like either you give it a direct prompt or you give it an example and you prompt it. Now, another thing which, another way of feeding information in prompts is using dialogue bots. So all of you must have seen this, we use it even in games and stuff. So like, talk with a famous person and then the bot will act like it's a famous person, and you can train the bot by basically asking more questions. So for example over here, we are asking who are you? And the bot is saying I am Sachin Tendulkar. And the user will keep prompting like it's almost a conversation, it's a dialogue, it's a continuing dialogue. So the bot will give more information as we go. So suppose, where do you live? What do you currently do? All of that. So where you can see, the more you converse with the dialogue bot, the more elaborate these answers get. So yeah, there's a very famous quote by this programmer. So he's telling, the newest programming language is just basic English. So here's a few observations about LLMs. So LLMs are a generative AI. So they might not always be truthful. These false answers, which might appear true, are called hallucinations. So hallucinations, example that I saw recently was when somebody had asked, like, can you name a country starting with K in Africa? So this ChatGPT gave this elaborate answer saying that there are 54 countries in Africa, but nothing starts with the letter K. Even though Kenya looks like it starts with K, it doesn't start with K. Something. Like it was just nonsense, but it looked very realistic. So Gen AI is it's more used for the creative side than actual research, like actual factual research that you might want. It's more used for generating stuff than it is for like cross-checking or verifying. So what are some decoding strategies? So as I said, it depends on probability. The next word in the sentence, the sky was full of, has like 0.5 instances of stars, 0.23 instances of clouds, birds is 0.05 instance, dust 0.03, and so on. These are the number of times that these words occur as the final word in this sentence in the data set which the LLM is trained on. Okay, but how do you pick what answer to choose for this? There are a few ways. See, a person might want the most probable. Some people, maybe they're writing like a story and they want something more creative. So how exactly do you choose? It's very simple. You get to choose. Okay, so I will just show you. So this is random sampling. This is one of the examples. Like, you just randomly just pick an answer. It will pick something. It won't check like which is the most, which is the combination of what is the most anything. You just randomly pick an answer. But if you want to be a little more specific, you use this concept called temperature. Now what is temperature? Temperature is nothing but the number which is used to tune the degree of randomness. So if you have lower temperature, you will have less randomness, and if you have higher temperature, you have more randomness. So like if you pick 0, it will give you probably like the most basic answer. It will give you the highest probability. But if you pick a higher temperature, like 1 or something, it will give you a more random answer, a more creative answer. So a few characteristics. So under lower temperature, it's more deterministic. It's greed decoding. So it will generally be better for tasks such as question and answers or summarization, like when you expect a more factual answer. A more straightforward prompt, it will use lower temperature. But suppose you're using it for more creative reasons, like you want to generate a poem or a story, then you will set the temperature towards the higher side so that it will create a more unusual answer. And in case, like you see, like I gave you the example of the generative model giving, that answer about Kenya, even though it wasn't factual. So in case you're thinking, okay, there's something seriously wrong, I'm getting lots of hallucinations in my LLM, it means that your temperature is very high and you need to adjust it accordingly. So two concepts under this prompt design is top K and top P. Now top K means you're taking a token K, like suppose you're giving it as 2, it will take like the 2 most probable answers. So you can see over here, you can adjust it. So suppose you're taking K is equal to 2, it will take the first 2 most probable answers. And it will just give you like the top of the data set list, whatever is most probable, it will give you that. But now top P, it's a little more complex. It will choose the smallest possible set of words whose cumulative probability is greater than or equal to P. So basically what it means is, if you set P as say 0.75, it will see what combination of all of these answers will give you a value which is as close to 0.75 without exceeding it. So it will see, okay, so stars, clouds, birds, together they are coming to 0.78. So it will say, okay, it's close to 0.75, it's not lesser than it. They're not getting like an exact equal, so it will give you the first 3 answers. So these are 2 concepts under temperature. So what are large language models? So ML algorithms that can recognize, predict and generate human languages are large language models. They are pre-trained on petabyte scale text-based data sets, resulting in large models with tens to hundreds of billions of parameters. And LLMs are normally pre-trained on a large corpus of text, followed by fine-tuning on a specific task. They can also be called large models and Gen AI. They are characterized by emergent abilities or the ability to perform tasks that were not present in smaller models. They also change how we interact with data and intelligent systems. And they can also do pattern recognitions. They can find patterns and connections in massive disparate data corpora. So basically, if you have a large body of text, it can find patterns. It can find recurring iterative processes, and it will have that ability to predict what will come next. As I said, that example, honesty is the best policy. It will see, okay, there's a pattern of policy being the next word in this phrase. So most likely that is the answer. So it has the ability to detect patterns. LLM is applied in many industries. For example, customer support. So like, you have the dialogue bot. Like in case you have any issue, even with, I think, Gen AI, they have a chat support option. So like you talk and then they'll give you answers. So it'll be used in customer support for helping customers. It's used in technology to generate code snippets from description. Then in financial services to auto-generate summaries of documents. It's used in healthcare to like summarize, healthcare you have so many case files. So to summarize all of that, it will be used in healthcare. In retail to summarize and as well as create product descriptions. and it's also used in media and gaming. So like, you know, you want to write a hashtag, or you want to write a caption for an Instagram story. You can use ChatGPT or some other Gen AI to formulate a caption. So what is the difference between traditional machine learning and LLM development? So in traditional, you need over 1,000 training examples to get started. And you need also expertise, you need time to compute, you need hardware, and you need to think about minimizing a loss function. But in LLM, you don't need training examples because it's already trained on such large data sets. It does not need this ML expertise. You know that we can use it, you see lots of people who are doing courses which have nothing to do with computers, even they use it for their work. Like suppose an English student might use it to formulate answers or whatever. So it's used, it doesn't need any expertise, it can be used by a large number of people. It does not need to train a model, you only have to think about prompt design. So what is the best way to formulate a prompt so that you get the answer which is closest to your needs. So now what are Google's offerings? So what is Google giving to us? So Google, since it caters to both businesses as well as like just common folks like us, it has different suites for different needs. So BART plus Maker Suite is something which is used in corporations. So like, you know, they have certain different needs. They might need like okay, plan an office trip or something. So that's what BART plus Maker Suite is used for. But then Google Cloud, which we also have access to, is something like, you know, just general needs, like whatever, like suppose you need help with homework, you just want to try it out, you can use it. So these are some examples, foundation model families that Google gives. Then enterprise, then there's AI Builder. I think a lot of us are using Vertex AI for these Gen AI labs that we're doing. And then models for AI. So there's like that Bison 001, which we use, I think, in a few labs. So all of these are provided by Google. Now, something which is used for Google Workspace is Duet AI. So these are the functions of Duet AI. They will help you write Gmail and Docs. They help you visualize in slides. It will help you organize in sheets, and it will help you connect in Meet. So it has like, it's a multi-purpose enterprise. Okay, so now Gen AI Studio, it has a simple user interface for interacting with models, and it will tune models with your own data. Okay, so this is something again which we're using. We will understand it better when we're doing the Gen AI labs. Okay, so I recommend both you guys to check these two websites out, because you can see how to use Gen AI. I think I can show a small demo with these two websites, so you can see like how it might work when it's like commercialized, how using these concepts in front end. So you guys can learn more about Gen AI by taking a screenshot of this. You can go check it out at home. You want to take anyway, we'll send it on the group so you can scan it there also. So I want to show you guys some demo. Okay, so this is a free AI writer tool, and as you can see, it has a lot of functions. So you can use it to generate stories. You can use it as a copywriter, paragraph generator, then as a blog writer. Many functions over here. So we'll just choose one. We'll choose AI blog writer. So it's asking what do you want to write about, and it's giving an example like how to make a free website with free domain. So you can enter a topic here. Like for example, I'll write, write about AI, and we can adjust the creativity over here. They've given us a sliding bar for creativity. This is nothing but temperature settings, except instead of like manually having to say, okay, specify top K, top P, whatever, you can it's just giving it in a simple, easy to understand way. So like, do you want it to be more creative? Do you want it to be less creative? So we'll just adjust it at 3 for now. And click on write. And see, it generated blog content about AI. So this is it took hardly a few seconds. What you'd have to do if you wanted to write a blog post is that you'll have to research, you'll have to write it in a way that will make sense and then post it. But by using this tool, in a few seconds, you are able to generate a blog post. Okay, and say you want to change the creativity setting. You want to make it more creative. So I'm changing it from 3 to 7. And I'll again press on write. It will give a slightly more creative output. So it's an iterative process. As you can see, it stores the previous prompts that we've given it. So this was with 3, this was with 7 creativity. So it will build on it. It will make it better. The more precise and the more times you iterate your prompt, the more accurate it will be to your needs. There's another website. I don't know if this one is free. So this is tools bars, and we're using it for generating an email. So as you can see, there are many options. There's type, like whether you want to compose a new email or you want to compose a reply to somebody else's email. Then there is purpose, like what do you want to convey in this email. Subject line. This is a small session on Gen AI. Do you guys have any questions that we can take? Any questions about Gen AI, LLM, emerging technologies? No questions?
Yeah, guys, feel free to ask questions because.
Yeah. How do I talk?
Some part of AI tool you are talking about. Actually, this is out of the presentation or out of the topic question. So
you'll have to again code. You have to code to make Gen AI. The advantage of Gen AI is for the users, not for the people who. AI brain. You're telling like how do you create a AI platform? Oh, no, you have to code it. You have to use, for example, like chat. You will have to code it. Like if you want, you can.
But yeah, thank you for showing up with a question at least out of the session or inside the session. Yeah.
The thing about Gen AI, it's useful for the user, but the person who's making it has to code, like old-fashioned ways. Yeah. Many things. see, in dialogue bot, yeah, you are training it. So suppose you have a bot which pretends to be a famous person, like for example, Sachin Tendulkar. Yeah. So what AI will do is it will be trained on data sets. So like it will know what is written in his Wikipedia page. It will know, like, it will have access to interviews, to whatever he said, which is available online. So suppose ChatGPT, we're having a chat with ChatGPT and it's acting as Sachin Tendulkar. So it will have that information. But if you give it a prompt like, pretend that you are my mother, it will not know any facts about your mother. But it can give like a general idea of what your mother, like of mothers that is there on the net. So like suppose, it will ask you, will you eat your food or whatever. It won't have any information about your mom, but it will have information about mothers in general. So it can predict, it can predict and generate responses.
Basically, it's able to access only the data
That is given to it, that it has access to. So. Any other questions? Sorry? NLP? Natural language. How does it work? It's basically like, you feed it a prompt, you don't have to code anything, the user. You use it in like just simple language, simple English. Like when you're prompting, you don't ask it, store it in this way, like I'm doing Python or anything. You just ask like, what is a cat? It will give you answer. You don't have to say, okay, store it in this way in the dictionary, then for I times, you don't have to do it. So it's very simple for just the common man also. Somebody who's not well versed in programming. Sorry. This Gen AI technology, the LLM, the language models, they'll be trained on large data sets. So data sets can be anything. So again, ChatGPT, it has access to internet. So the data set is like the whole internet. It can take information, it can recognize patterns of like so many PDF files or whatever. So suppose you are using an AI which is trained on a specific PDF files, it will generate an answer from those PDF files. So it will see pattern recognition in that and it can predict an answer. It can be examples, it can also be like just a question that you're asking. So like you can tell it, do something, it will do that. Or if you want, you can give it like examples to make it more active. Yeah.
NLP, the example that you gave was the cat. The cat example, that's NLP, right? Which is natural language review. Whereas the AI does the survey and gives you an answer.
Yeah.
The survey is conducting this through LLM, right?
Yes.
So it's using the LLM and then giving us a desired answer from the LLM.
So I'd like to add one thing in the NLP section, that you guys have any more question on NLP? Natural language processing or large language models? I'll quickly add something on NLP what Google is doing in the backend. Google already have a data set of Google. If you search on the Google Play Store, you'll find one app called Google Crowdsource. That is CROWD SOURC. So okay. So what Google is doing with that app, it is collecting the data from all the crowd base in the planet, like throughout where the Google is available. So from that data, it is collecting information from the images, voice, videos, and then all the other things. Anything you A to Z, it is collecting data. So the NLP which we talked about today, the models are made by the data itself. So for the, I hope you guys in the poster also, if you guys have seen, the QR code is there. Okay, so you guys are scanning that QR code through the Google Lens. So how Google Lens is working by seeing the QR code? Because in the QR code, all the information is stored, and please guys. Let me continue. You can continue. Okay. So the QR code is basically having all the information is in it, where the address by scanning where you will be redirected to the address or not. So the language models are made with the data sets like suppose a number of like the alphabet model you have to make. So Google is getting the confirmation of the alphabets from the user first, and then it is making the models with the developers. As you told that the how to make that AI model. Is that your question? Na? So developers are sitting for the making the AI models with the data set what they are getting from the crowd base. Okay. So after making the data set which the developer makes, that is being fed into the AI model. Okay. So AI models, what they are doing, what the machine is learning from the data set, that if user will scan this code, then the redirected address will be this. So this the machine will run, and the processing will be done by the AI, the code that a developer writes. Okay. So a machine first learn the data, and AI process the data and show it up to you. Okay. And the AI is actually all the code you write. Okay, and the code is inserted in the Google Lens app, and whatever you search or you scan, a number you search, in that under you get the suggestions like you can call, you can text, all the things. That AI is doing. And the data set that is the data set that are made, and they are fed into the machine learning model, and then the AI take that data and then it is showed to you, or then it is processed to you. Okay, I hope that it is clear.
This is the crowdsource app that he's talking about. So you see that even we can provide our own information.
Exactly.
So it will ask you, you can show that.
Yeah, you can download it from Google Play Store, and then next coming month, like Cloud Studies app, we are gonna be starting with the Google Crowdsource Learning Community. In that learning community, you will be asked to contribute in that app, and after going to level 10 of contribution, you will be given 40 plus self-paced courses from Google and a certification from that, and whoever will be contributing the most, they will get goodies and swags and merchandise. Yeah.
And this is nothing like this Google Cloud Foundation. There's no labs or anything.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like a game. It's an app game which you play.
So, how many of you are done with the Gen AI labs? Can I know?
Very good.
Okay, good number. Yeah. So, do you those who completed the labs, do you have any problem with the foundation course?
The foundation course. We sent the first one yesterday. So okay, no doubts I think as of now. If you have, you can always tell us. We'll be available.
Okay, so kindly please be seated of those who completed the Gen AI labs. Abhika, how did you continue take time for the Gen AI completion?
It will take like 5 minutes for that.
Okay. So quickly in 5 minutes, from one account, we will be showing for those who not complete the Gen AI labs. If you guys have the phone or computer, then you can turn on that and you can complete the Gen AI lab here itself. So Prithvi will be showing how to complete the Gen AI lab. Those who didn't complete and those who completed the Gen AI lab, Prithvi will be giving some context or some ideas how to complete the foundation course. Okay. As I'll show you one thing.
Yeah.
Tire 1 tire.